you mentioned earlier that there's certain things that are very important to you for a successful relationship. Can you kind of like dive in a little bit into what that is for a man like you know, I mean, I would imagine that you do want to meet somebody and spend the rest of your life with somebody, as I think
Yeah,
most of
yeah,
us
that would be my
do.
preference.
Yeah, as I believe most of us do. Nobody really wants to be alone. I will never believe anybody that tells me that they want to be alone for the rest of their life. They are lying. Nobody wants to be alone. So what would those,
Even if they're lying to themselves, I think you're
yeah,
probably right. Yeah.
everybody wants just like a plus one, you know, somebody that you can just bounce ideas from, you know, share a nice dinner with, or just know that they're there, you know, like with you, when I saw you on your social media, you're sick, you have a cold. Here, baby, let me bring you some, let me bring you your tea and your Advil, you know. So what
Yeah.
would be those characteristics that you would look for in a woman?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. It's definitely changed over the years. I mentioned whenever my ex-wife and I got together, it was faith was by far the most. I would even go as far as to call it religion. We were both Southern Baptists, and our faith and how important church was and how we wanted to raise a family and how we wanted to live a life was the things that I was most looking for in a partner, that she checked all the boxes. Also beautiful, and sweet, loving, caring, all the things. But those things were vital. I grew up with a mother who had to work to raise, three boys for a long season by herself. And she was this very strong, independent woman. But I remember what it was like coming home to an empty house after school and, getting up to no good, going hanging out with my friends, running around town, riding our bikes with,
Mm,
no supervision. And I had this vision of a partner who not just was going to be a stay-at-home wife for because I wanted one and that's what I thought my kids would want, but because that's what she wanted. And so we had that was really important to her. She had all these amazing qualities, very motherly, amazing cook, lots of those really fantastic things. When I was originally, I'm like, okay, she meets all of those things. She also drives me absolutely crazy. And then I remember talking to men in my life, they're like, well, that's just all women. So it's
I
like,
was
unless you
gonna
want to be
say,
gay, like you take that one. And
I
she
think that
does,
just
she meets
comes
all of
that
these.
yeah, that comes with the
Yeah.
package with
And so
us,
that
you
was the
know?
advice that I got from them. What I never heard from them, I didn't know how important it was for me, is I need a partner in adventure, somebody who matches my adventurous spirit for travel and doing fun things. And I think there's an amazing balance that you can have with somebody. Like, I've dated people that were very much planners, and we'll figure it out. And I think
Me
it's
too.
nice if if you're not too much of the extremes, but like if you let your partner who wants to have a little more of a plan more, and then also kind of like, all right, let's leave a little bit of room for some flexibility. I think that's an awesome example of where you can have, you don't want somebody just like you, but you want somebody that matches it. And a struggle that I had with my ex-wife is she's very much a homebody, and in many ways, like, was riddled with anxiety that kept her from probably wanting to do the things she might otherwise have wanted to do. So that stuff was very difficult. So I felt like we were always at home, and the only things that we went and did were go out to eat or do things with our church group. And I told you I was a paratrooper. I jumped out of planes and shot machine guns and did stuff like I wanted adventure. And so now what I'm looking for, and this is why I brought this up, is very different than what I had in mind when I was in my 20s, considering, marriage then. Now that I've got, teenagers that, my daughter's about to get her driver's license. My son, has already graduated and has a job, a car, and a girlfriend. Like, um, what I'm looking for is very different. And so I want this ride or die partner. And if she is bringing kids, to the relationship as well, I feel like if they were too young, that would, you know,
I
that wouldn't
understand.
work.
Yeah.
If they were too old, I'm like, I'm not ready to be a grandpa yet. But where's that sweet spot that's pretty close to my kid's age, where we get to have that season of life that I'm really looking forward to enjoying a lot. So I don't know if I really answered your question, but that's something that's important to me, and I think for most men to or anybody, not just men, but I'm speaking on behalf of men, I guess here, is to think about these are often different sides to the same coin. Somebody who is going to be that nurturing, caring, loving, supporting partner that you want
Right.
might not be as adventurous as you're looking forward to. Maybe
Right.
you need to have those needs met with your buddies.
Right.
And, that's, some give and take. So um, I would then say that what's actually most important for each person is what I call irreducible minimums. I think a lot of people and some of my coaching clients do this. They're like, oh, well, somebody said make a list of all the things that I want for in a partner. And I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I like the idea of manifesting things and what is it that you're looking for.
I've tried that.
But
It
I
hasn't
would
worked for
actually,
me yet.
I like the opposite. I use the analogy. I don't bake. I don't really cook much of anything. But I like the analogy of what are the ingredients required to make a cake? And there's really only 5 of them. But you can get as creative as you want to make all these different types of cakes
Right.
with the extra ingredients. But the minute that you take out flour, it's no longer a cake, right? Like, okay, you need to have a few different things. And so what are the it feels weird to say bare minimum, but that's why I like irreducible minimums. What are the things that are vital that if this person doesn't have these things, these characteristics, these qualities, you don't even consider them? That's my recommendation. And for some people, it might be faith or religion. Maybe they need to have the same values, and whatever it is, whatever your things are. I feel like be open minded to all of these other things, except the few things that you have that you are not willing to compromise on. And I think you're more likely to be surprised what's out there and what might be a better fit for you.